Hey y'all, welcome to Prepper Friday. I'm Madden from Self-Reliance Publishing, and today we're going to talk about a topic that was actually brought up by someone in my Facebook group. I've actually got a Facebook page set up for my business called Self-Reliance Publishing, so if you haven't, be sure to check that out and give that a like. I'd appreciate that. And there's also a group associated with that page. And a guy named Justin said a couple days ago, "Remember, we can read about survival, prepping, bushcraft, etc. till the cows come home. But until we actually try it and succeed with our knowledge and skills, we don't know jack. Be ready, my friends." And I wanted to take that comment and talk about that for a few minutes. This video is going to be kind of echoing some things that I've said in previous videos, like how to be a prepper without looking like a prepper. And that's essentially that prepping ought to be a lifestyle. And if you make it a lifestyle, that automatically means that you're going to be actually utilizing your skills. I believe that prepping should be more about knowledge and skills, applied knowledge, than it is about the purchases that you've made. If you've got one person over here that's got a lot of money and has bought a bunch of tools, a bunch of gear, and a bunch of food to stash away, and you got a person over here that might not have the resources but has devoted time in developing skills and knowledge, this person over here is going to come out better in the end, in my personal opinion. Now, reading, watching YouTube videos and whatnot is an important part of it. You've got to get your knowledge from somewhere. So by reading books, by watching YouTube videos and whatnot, you build your knowledge base. But you don't want to fool yourself into thinking that you have complete ownership of that knowledge until you have actually implemented that knowledge. That would kind of go back to me in my college days. I was pretty good about going to class, but I was really bad about listening to the professor and being like, I got it. When the professor talked, I heard what he was saying and I felt like I was understanding it because it made sense to me. When he laid everything out, I thought I was following along and I thought it was clicking, but I would not do the homework, and when it came time to reproduce what he was talking about in those lectures on a test, I failed. And that happened to me on more than one occasion in more than one class. So don't be like me in my college days when it comes to prepping. If you read about something skill-based, something that's skill-based, or if you watch a video about something that's skill-based, take the video I did on Wednesday for Bushcraft Wednesday, starting a fire with a magnifying glass. It looks easy and it's really not hard, but go out there and actually do it. There's going to be little subtle things like how to hold the magnifying glass, where to position it, what kind of tinder works for you. There's going to be some small variables in there that you're going to want to find out when it's not an emergency situation where you're not needing that skill to affect your survival. So start practicing those skills now. Like I've said before, prepping is a lifestyle, and that means living it. That means utilizing the skills that you're watching on YouTube, learning on YouTube, as well as reading about, and finding ways of implementing those skills in your everyday life. And you don't necessarily have to go out in the woods. We associate bushcraft with being in the woods, and obviously that's what it's about. It's about living in the woods as comfortably as possible. But you don't necessarily have to wait until you have the opportunity to go in the woods for a whole weekend before you start practicing some of those skills. You can do that in your own backyard, or you can do it on your patio, really, if you were to live in an apartment. Just as an example, tomorrow I'm going to be grilling hamburgers for supper. We've got a charcoal grill, and instead of using a lighter to get the charcoal going, you better believe I'm going to be using a ferrocerium rod. And I've basically feel like I'm pretty proficient at that, but it never hurts to practice those skills and keep them honed so that I don't get rusty with it. So just implement those things in your everyday life. Well, actually, now that I think about it, if it's sunny, I might practice with the magnifying glass again, just because. Again, take a skill and find a way of implementing its practice in your daily life. And that's just a small example that I'm sharing with you about how you can do that. But the point of this video is you definitely want to implement some of these things. If you read about food preservation, don't just read about it. Actually try some of it. Build a solar dryer and dry some fruits, dry some meats. Don't just read about smoking meat. Actually do it. Make you some venison jerky. My goal next year for next deer season is to process a deer and preserve the meat without using any utilities. So that's going to be a big undertaking for me. I've never done it, but it's a valuable skill to have, I think, and it's something that I ought to practice. I can read about how to do it, but until I actually do it, it's not a skill that I own. So my encouragement to you, again, is that prepping is a lifestyle. You should be implementing these skill-based things into your daily life as much as possible. Don't just read about it, don't just watch it on YouTube, but actually practice it. I appreciate you watching this video. Hopefully it will encourage you to maybe go out there and practice some skills. As always, I appreciate every like, every comment, and every subscribe. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.